Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to today's Waste 360 webinar, Waste Management Mobility Tech Solutions Explored, sponsored by Havis.
My name is Gage Edwards, and I'll be moderating today's events. We have just a few announcements before we begin. This webinar is designed to be interactive. The dock of widgets at the bottom of your screen will allow you to learn about today's speakers, download resources, and participate in the Q&A session that takes place at the end of our presentation. The slides will advance automatically throughout the event. Towards the end of our webinar, we will ask you to complete our survey found on the right-hand side of your screen. Please take a minute to fill this out before leaving us today, as your feedback will provide us with valuable information on how we can improve future events. Lastly, if you're experiencing any technical problems, please click the Help widget found at the bottom of your screen, or type the issue into our Q&A area, and we'll be glad to offer one-on-one assistance. Now on to the presentation. Waste Management Mobility Tech Solutions Explored. Discussing today's topics are Sam Barral, Director of Enterprise Sales at Havis, and Javier Cepeda, Product Development Manager, Tablets, Zebra. To learn more about our speakers, visit the speaker bio widget. Sam, Javier, take it away.
Thank you, Gage. I appreciate the introduction and welcome everybody. Thank you, Waste 360, for providing this platform for us to speak as well. We're thrilled to be here today to discuss the transformative shift that's impacting the waste and recycling industries, and that is moving away from paper-based systems and embracing digital solutions. Like Gage said, my name is Sam Burrell, Enterprise Sales Director at Havis, and Javier here to my left, Product Manager at Zebra Technologies. Our focus today is going to be how you can leverage Zebra's rugged devices along with our Havis docking, mounting, and power solutions to bring efficiency, accuracy, and sustainability to your operations. For years, the waste and recycling operations have relied on paper for route management, customer records, and regulatory compliance, to name a few. Well, this method, while familiar, is filled with a number of challenges. One is inefficiencies in route management, which leads to wasted fuel and even time. Inefficiencies around speed of communication, which is much slower using paper. Manual data entry is also prone to errors and delays in recording. And all of these things create customer satisfaction concerns or issues. Well, enter the age of digital information and transformation. By adopting Zebra's mobile rugged devices equipped with telematics software, along with our mounting, docking, and power solutions, we're not just replacing paper, but we're enabling real-time data collection and analysis. We're improving operational efficiencies, reducing costs associated with errors, fuel consumption, and equipment wear, and enhancing customer satisfaction. And all of these things combined lead to a strong return on your investment. So let's move on to the heart of today's discussion, led by Javier, who's going to educate all of us on Zebra's mobile computing solutions. Javier?
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Hey everyone, Javier. I do product development at Zebra Technologies. I'm really excited to be here at the Havis facility. They are a tremendous partner with extensive tenure and experience. Now we're here today to discuss modernizing the workflows of waste, disposal, and recycling. Now for today's conversation, this will be comprised of a tablet in hand that is also vehicle dockable. So Sam will touch on all of the innovations that Havis brings to docking, mounting, and power within the vehicle. I'm here to discuss how Zebra is uniquely positioned to offer a tailored, right-sized, rugged device, tablet or handheld, for a variety of workflows in this space. Now, Zebra owns a large percentage of the rugged tablet market, and we've gained position and momentum being one of the few large OEMs of both Windows and Android rugged devices, as well as a robust portfolio of handheld computing, scanning, wearables, and much more. But our differentiation doesn't stop there. As you see before me, we offer tablets in various sizes, weights, and durability. Now, Zebra puts customers first as we bring products to market, and we do that on multiple fronts. We start with a design focused on waste management professionals. Our tablets are purpose-built. The rugged aspect is built in, not added on after the fact. You get outdoor viewable screens for use in direct sunlight scenarios right out of the box. We test for extreme temperatures, drops, vehicle vibration, dust, and water ingress because we understand the environment in which these devices will be used. Now, Zebra products are grounded in long life cycle. We design and sustain these products for 3, 4, and 5 year cell cycles and support them for 3, 4, and 5 years more to ensure that you have that longevity. Now, contrast that with a consumer branded device that refreshes every year, and you really see the value of our approach. Now, with a long life cycle, your IT professionals and teams don't need to create a new image every year. That frees them up to go and make impacts in other parts of the organization. And this also means complementary solutions purchased around the device, like a Havis dock or Havis power, can stay in your fleet longer, reducing the cost and avoiding rip and replacement of these accessories every time the tablet changes. So return on investment is a really big discussion in an area where you see consumer devices being used for commercial workflows. The durability of the Zebra lineup that we discussed today reduces break-fix occurrences to lower levels than a consumer device. And that equates to more uptime for your fleet, and it also optimizes the investment by allowing you to keep these devices in your environment longer. Now let's dive into some of the devices that I've got here in front of me. We'll start here on this side with the TC2. Now this is a mobile handheld computer that adds value to the enterprise, being a commercial device, but in the price range of a consumer. A 6-inch Gorilla Glass screen boasting 450 nit brightness means you're going to get productivity in a variety of lighting scenarios. With a design grounded in durability and productivity, you're going to get things like push to talk. You're going to get a mil standard drop test rating of 4.5 feet right out of the box before anything's added. Advanced integrated scanning and an IP rating of IP68 for protection against water and dust ingress. So we see this typically used where handheld computer, one-hand computing is needed, or where a phone-sized form factor is really a requirement. This is also a great option when budgets are tight. Next, you've got our ET4 line. This is the 8-inch and the 10-inch, driving the thinnest and lightest tablets in our tablet portfolio. Now, this is one of our leading Android tablets for the commercial space. With a design, again, grounded in durability, you're going to get thermal operating ranges of -4 to 122, and that towers over your typical consumer device. Mil standard drop tests of 4 feet right out of the box and an IP65 rating. By the way, that's a full rugged rating in a device this thin and light. And all of this for a price that's very consistent with the consumer tablet. Now, we often see the 8-inch form factor deployed in disposal trucks. We see the 10-inch for environmental workflows where the tablet may be out of the vehicle for scanning of pictures. Moving throughout the portfolio here, we've got the ET6. This is a 10-inch form factor and the most durable from a mil standard testing in the Zebra lineup. Now, this initially launched as an Android-only tablet. We will be launching a Windows equivalent later this year. Now, with this design, you can use it as a tablet or as a 2-in-1 utilizing our IP-rated keyboard. Use it mounted on a service cart in your shop or on a forklift. Use it in the cab of a vehicle or configure it for freezer environments. This is truly a tablet that can do it all. Mil standard drop tests of 5 feet out of the box, 1,000 nit screen brightness for use outdoors, and IP66 for water and dust ingress. Now, this is often used by supervisor positions where more compute is needed, more productivity with a 2-in-1 keyboard, and more RAM for processing. Last but not least, we have the ET8. Now, this is a 12-inch Windows form factor driving a 2-in-1 experience utilizing our IP-rated keyboard. This uses Core i processors with Windows 11, so you get a full laptop-like experience. Now, we see this utilized by management teams that perform more multitasking, have higher compute needs. We also see this mounted in cabs where screen visibility is important, and that larger overall form factor really drives some value. Now, this is often selected for use in trucks for companies that are also primarily Windows shops. So that's the Zebra lineup as I have it today. Sam, do you want to talk a little bit about docking?
Yes, thank you, Javier. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is why we feel we are the premium docking brand on the market. And then the next minute or two, we'll talk about individual features and benefits that separate these docking platforms from each other. But at Havis, we do feel like we are that premium brand, but we don't just say that, we back that up. And I wanted to talk about some of the testing and procedures that we put our products through to give you peace of mind that this is the safest, highest quality built docking platform on the market in your vehicles. First off, and Javier talked about a number of these with his tablets as well, we do operational vibe testing and non-operational vibe testing on all of these docking platforms. On the operational side, we vibe test with the tablet in the docking station to ensure that that digital connection is always maintained no matter how much vibration your vehicle is under. Now, we also remove the tablet and do non-operational vibe testing, which is much more aggressive to make sure the materials used were always sound and the docking will always be ready when you bring that tablet back into the vehicle and ready for the day. A second testing that we do is a barrier crash testing. And we don't just do that from one side, we do that from three sides, from the front, from the side, and the rear, to make sure this is the safest product line on the market. There will be no projectiles if you get in an accident with these solutions. Cycle testing, we do 30,000 cycle tests per device to make sure that the docking and undocking system will work for years of use case. And usually after 5-6 years, we still have no issues with the features of the docking stations. And like Javier mentioned, we do a number of environmental testing as well, thermal testing, where we basically freeze it and we heat it up to 185 degrees to make sure that these systems together, tablet included, will work in South Florida in the summer and Alaska in the winter. A lot of testing and a lot of certifications that we put our products through to ensure you have peace of mind when investing in us. Now, some value features that are common across all of these docks that I wanted to highlight. One is every single one of these has a barrel key lock, and they are all keyed alike. So if you have a fleet, for example, maybe 100 trucks, you will not have 100 different keys, one specific to the dock. It'll be one key that can unlock or lock every single dock in your fleet. Another thing that I want to highlight here, if hopefully you can see it, is this floating dock connector head. I think you can see that. What that does is ensures that as you dock and undock, the electronics will move with the tablet, giving a lot of forgiveness there and a lot of, and will reduce problems that may occur from a fixed electronic and meeting that with a tablet a number of times throughout the day. A lot of breaks can happen that way. This ensures that that will not. And another thing, when we talked about operational vibe a minute ago and how we vibe test with the tablet in the docking station, this floating dock connector head ensures that that digital connection will be maintained no matter your environment. And that is also to ensure the power will work and all of the port replication will work as well. Now, and then the last third that's common across all of these is a feature that we've implemented in the last 3 years, which is an LED powered indicator light on the docking station. So that does two things for you. Your installer, whether it's you or a professional that you've hired, will be able to tell if they have wired this docking station correctly to the vehicle battery or through our charge card device, which we'll talk about in a minute inside the vehicle. The second thing it will do, if you think maybe you've had these in service for a year, is troubleshooting. If the tablet is no longer receiving power or one of the ports is no longer working, you don't have to call Zebra first. Look at the tablet, look at that indicator LED light, and if it's green, we'll maybe call Zebra and talk about the settings and maybe an upgrade of BIOS. Otherwise, it could just be an issue with wiring. If that light is not green, it could be a wiring issue back to the battery, and we will jump in and take care of those issues. So a lot of features and benefits built into all of these systems that are unique to Havis. Now, investment protection. Let's highlight that for this ET4 design. Like Javier mentioned, we've got the 10-inch here and the 8-inch version here. How we're protecting your investment here is this is the exact same docking station. It is made to hold both platforms. So, for example, if you have the 8-inch device for a few months in your fleet, but you realize the users are not being as productive as they can be because the screen is too small, you can easily upgrade them to the 10-inch device, raise the neck of the docking station using loosening and tightening these two screws, raise it up, and then it will accept the 10-inch version of the tablet. And of course, you can go down as well. If this is too large of a device, drop down to the 8. The same tablet will work as well. Did want to highlight one feature with the TC2 docking station. We utilize something a little different than everybody else, and that's a USB-C connector into the handheld. And the reason we chose that that type of connector over a pogo pen connector is we wanted to maximize the charging rates of the device. So in higher brightness environments, you may have the brightness turned up on the device, which drains battery faster. Well, this will ensure that the docking station can maintain a full charge throughout the day. Now, we do have a variety of I/O options across all of these platforms. We have a standard, advanced, and even some that we do not publish, which is more of a platinum level I/O feature set. But on the standard side, you usually will get power and maybe a USB, depending on which platform we're talking about. Also, as we move to the advanced, we will add on I/O to the board, where you'll get power USBs. You may pick up 2 more USBs than the original standard version. You'll also get a powered serial port, for example, maybe an HDMI option, and power throughout all of these. Some of these do have internal power options, so you do not need an external power supply, but some, like these 2 on the right, will be required to add an external power supply for the ET6 and the ET8. And one thing we definitely wanted to highlight with the ET6 and the ET8, because Javier mentioned they do come in Windows options, we do have the ability now, because of that, to add external antennas to pass antennas out to the top of the vehicles. Maybe in your coverage area where the trucks are roaming, they lose connectivity, maybe Verizon or AT&T drops. Well, you can boost that signal with an antenna, and you'll always have the device connected to your system. And all of these do support a variety of shoulder straps and or hand straps, depending on the thickness and the features of that. So just give us a call and talk to us about that. Okay, so those are some of the features and benefits of the docking stations. We also have a number of mounting systems back here that I just want to touch on briefly, because we're really going to talk about that inside the vehicle next. But just know that Havis has a number of tried and true dual ball mount systems. This one that I'm holding, we've got 17,000 of these in waste trucks across the United States today. We know they work, and we are relevant in this space. We also have power system that I held up earlier, our charge guard, and we're going to talk about the features and benefits of that as well in the vehicle. And Javier and I are going there now to pick up. So thank you.
Hey everyone, Javier and Sam. We're here in the warehouse with a disposal truck, and we wanted to take the opportunity to bring you within the cab and show you a couple of configurations of how you can deploy Zebra devices with Havis solutions. Now, before we do, I want to highlight that because of the broad portfolio of Zebra as well as Havis, we really do have the flexibility to custom make a solution for you based on your needs and requirements. Now, as you're deploying devices into trucks, Sam, what are some of the things we need to really keep top of mind?
Right, really, we want to talk about 2 main things. The first one being mounting location. One of the more difficult things to do in a garbage truck, depending on the size of device that you choose, whether it be a 10-inch, 8-inch, or a handheld device, is where we're going to mount that in a responsible way. And the second thing we want to talk about is power considerations. We want to provide constant power to that device for the entire day, but we also want to protect that device from spikes in voltage and or drops in amps. So let's jump inside and take a look at some of our options.
Let's do it.
Okay, welcome inside the cab of the vehicle. Javier and I are going to talk about mounting locations and best practices around where to put the device depending on size. And then we'll talk a little bit about different types of mounts to accomplish the goal. And then lastly, we'll finish up with a conversation about the power system as well. What you're seeing here are 2 different mounted tablets. We've got the Zebra ET4 here. This is the 8-inch version, and then the fixed mounted ET4 10-inch version. And we're also showing you two different style mounts as well. This one is a suction cup style, which is obviously not a permanent mount, but a great one to move around the cab and find the sweet spot on the window. And then the 10-inch is hard mounted down or drilled down to the base of the vehicle itself. Either way, we can reach and undock and dock very easily. This one as well. So you can get outside of the cab of the vehicle, walk around, do your checks, or take pictures of, say, some hazardous waste and send back to the office immediately, and then docked in. So there's two different ways to mount a 10-inch or an 8-inch device. We also have different ways to do it. We could mount with a magnet, which all we need at that point is to find a metal flat surface, and that is a 120-pound pull magnet, so very sturdy, very robust, and it becomes part of the vehicle at that point. A third way we could do it is a drill down option. Just wanted to show you a different style mount, a trigger mount that locks it into place and is a little longer than the one that we're showing you that's holding the 10-inch tablet right there. So those are some mounting options for you. Some considerations that you need to think about before finding that location is we want to make sure, Javier, if you could close that door for a second. We want to make sure my line of sight as the driver does not block the mirrors in any way. And as you can see, it does not. It's actually just lined up with the front loader itself. So I have full visibility of my surroundings, and also have a backup camera here as well, so I can see whatever the cameras are broadcasting into the cab. With the front mounted suction cup system, also, I can see directly in front of me. I can see to my right as well. So you want to make sure you're not blocking any line of sight, because we want the safest and most ergonomical position possible. If we have a handheld device, we can do lighter weight mounting systems where we can mount off the top eyebrow even, or hang it down under the backup camera as well, or use any of the available space inside the vehicle. So those are some considerations to think about when mounting the device. Again, it depends on the size device you choose first, and then we move and adjust the position depending on that and the vehicle itself. All right, so let's talk about power systems, which is the second thing we wanted to talk about. And we do have a charge guard product here that we wanted to highlight. When you mount and dock a device inside a vehicle, the best way to do that is to power it directly to the battery of the vehicle. How we like to do it, our best practice, is to install the charge guard between the battery and the device itself. So from the device dock, you go to the charge guard, and from the charge guard, you go to the battery. And this does two things. One, it's a timer. And you can see inside we've got switches here, so we can set the timer to whatever time that you want, and that will cut the battery voltage to the device, so you never have a dead battery when using the charge guard. And the second thing that it does is provide coverage for cranking amps. So it will protect the device from getting spikes or surges in voltage, which can typically damage the device. So once you've got the mounting taken care of, and we're in an ergonomically friendly place, and the docking and power is wired correctly, now you've got the optimal system to run your operations.
Sam, that was excellent. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to see how we deploy Zebra and Havis in the cab. As you can see, we've got a lot of flexibility. We are absolutely committed to our customers. We're committed to safety, and we're committed to modernizing the workflows within waste management. So with that, let's hop back into the Solutions Center and go through some Q&A.
All right. Now, before we begin with today's Q&A, please direct your attention to our webinar survey available on the right of the presentation window. If you close the survey, simply reopen the widget by clicking on the clipboard icon along the bottom of your screen. Thank you in advance for filling out the feedback form. Participation in this survey allows us to better serve you for future webinars. And now on to the question and answer portion of our event. As a reminder, to participate in the Q&A, just type your questions into the text box located to the left of the presentation window, or click the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. If we are not able to answer your submitted question during today's webinar, we'll be sure to share them with our speakers who can reply to you offline. You guys ready?
Ready.
Excellent. Let's jump into our first question here. All right, guys. Question 1. How do Zebra's devices integrate with existing waste management systems, and what an organizations expect from this integration?
Yeah, this is a great question. I spoke earlier about the breadth of our portfolio, and the value that adds to these specific workflows is the ability, again, to really tailor the OS, the device itself. That has a lot of the size of the device, the size of the screen, whether or not it comes with a 2-in-1 keyboard, all of those have real world implications into how end users are interacting with the device and how we're driving productivity back into these workflows. And so the broad portfolio that we offer is probably first and foremost, and then the flexibility from a software perspective, getting away from hardware with Android, with Windows 11, and being really at the forefront or cutting edge of those OSs. I think that's where I would start that.
Our next question is, sorry, was there more?
No.
Nope. Okay, cool. The next question is, are the mounts universal to all Zebras?
Yes, I'll take that one. The mounting systems are universal to all Zebras and even universal to our competitive products as well. They all have a Visa 75 or amps pattern, can be adapted to an amps pattern. So the mounting systems that we talked about can be used for all products.
Excellent.
And Gage, let me differentiate that. Let me add one thing to that. Now, when we're talking docking stations, different from mounting, but docking stations, they are unique to the device themselves. So this ET8 dock can only be used with the ET8 device, and so on down the line. Thank you.
Our next question. Let's see. Is the magnet mount for 10-inch tablets? What is the cost?
Yeah, the magnet mount can hold a 10-inch tablet. I would caution you, though, once we get to a point, an inflection point of weight, the magnet mount may not be the best use case. But if the vibration is at a certain level and the 10-inch device is light enough with our dock, combined with our dock, it could work. Typically, we like the magnet mount for lighter devices like handhelds and the 8-inch. But I would say let's try it and see if it works for you. We can offer demo systems at no cost to you, and let us know if the vibration environment is too great for it or if it works perfectly. The cost, they're very economical. I'd never see your final cost, your final purchase price, but on our website, we have the MAG 101 and 102, and the MSRP is up there. I'm going to guess and say it's under $200 per mount.
Great. Let's see. What features are integrated into Havis products that cater specifically to the unique demands of waste management environments?
Yeah, that's a good one. And we talked I'll just repeat what I said earlier. We talked about a few of those. One is that floating dock connector head. That's a feature that's common across all of these. That's perfect for your environment because these trucks are out there sometimes on very uneven roads and a lot of vibration comes into the cab. That floating dock connector head will ensure that you maintain a digital connection between the dock and the device at all times. And so that means it gets powered at a constant rate, and all of the accessories that you add to it will also stay connected throughout the workday without having to reinitialize the accessories that you're adding to the system. So there's one great one. The barrel key lock is a great one as well. You can leave this in the vehicle overnight, just lock it and take the key with you, and it's a system that will stay put and help with theft. Those are two great ones. One I do like to highlight, if you go with the larger systems and the Windows devices, especially for those supervisors that are in more traditional trucks like a smaller F-150 or 250, for example, you can add antenna pass-throughs to boost that cellular signal or Wi-Fi signal to make sure you stay connected throughout the day, no matter where you go in your coverage area, which is a great feature for this industry. Thank you.
Our next question. What considerations should waste management organizations keep in mind when adopting new technologies, and how can they ensure a smooth transition?
you take it all.
Yeah, we'll do this one together. Well, first and foremost, rugged versus consumer. You guys need to think about where your philosophy is. Pay more upfront for something that's going to last 5 to 7 years, or pay less out of the gate, but have to iterate or change your mounting and docking systems year after year after year every time. We are a proponent of the rugged systems, and Javier will dive in and cover a little bit of that. But we feel like the combination of the rugged devices and our docking platforms can give you peace of mind and give you a return on your investment faster if you can stabilize on a product for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, those are great points, Sam. I would carry on what he said from the perspective of rugged versus consumer. We see, as you look at numbers, right, that the break fix numbers increase pretty drastically when you're using a device that's not designed to be dropped or for water and dusting risks and some of the other things that are really kind of the enemy of a chipset. Add to that one thing that's also not really considered sometimes during the purchase decision, which is, how does this screen do when I go from inside of the cab that's relatively dark into kind of full sun, right? And now all of a sudden I've lost productivity. Depending on the workflow, the mission critical nature of the work, sometimes this can be a real disruptor. And that leads me to the next point, which is we really should be looking at the end user and thinking, what are the decisions I can make from a configuration perspective around the tablet, around how I mount? We saw in the video, that line of sight to the mirror, all of these things that the end user is going to experience as they use Havis and Zebra. We really should start there first and define what those requirements and needs are and tackle the budget aspect of it further into the process.
Excellent. So our next question is for Sam. Is the blanket screen blanking product recommended and or mandated by law in certain state markets?
Yeah, that's a great one. I'm not sure if it's mandated by individual states, but I can tell you it's a great product and one you should certainly consider when adding technology, especially for the first time, adding technology to the cab of your vehicle. And Zebra does offer, I believe it's called Lifesaver screen blanking system, where there's a speed threshold, and if the truck meets a certain threshold, and I believe you guys get to set that speed, then the screen will blank. So there are no distracted driving situations in that with that product in use, which is great. And sometimes you can nominate programs to not blank, so the route management portion can stay up on the screen no matter how fast the vehicle's moving. And sometimes it's customizable to a point where if a vibration of the vehicle reaches a certain threshold, it will blank the system. So even idling sometimes can blank it. That's great on the forklift side of the market, but in the garbage truck world, that speed threshold would be a great one to set for Lifesaver.
Our next question is for Javier. Will the Zebra system communicate with the truck diagnostic system for hydraulics and engine performance?
Yeah, that is absolutely an option when you're deploying Zebra into these trucks. Absolutely.
Yeah, one thing that we did mention during our presentation was around telematics software. And that software that you'll add to our mutual products will really drive this business case and help you accomplish the goals that you want. Those telematics, the software can be very simple. They can just measure vehicle behavior, or they can be very complicated with a number of cameras that trigger video recording if you take a turn too fast, if you brake too sharply. It really runs the gamut out there. So do your research on the telematics side, and that will complement our products as well.
Okay. Our next question is, does it have Bluetooth or RFID? And is it external or internal antenna for RFID?
So from a tablet perspective, we'll look at RFID first. RFID, we will be offering in the ET6 Android RFID. It will be internal. The other tablets that we talked about today do not. And as far as Bluetooth, that is supported across all of these chipsets, both from a Qualcomm perspective as well as Intel.
All right. Our next question here.
Do you need to meet ISO 26262 function safety requirements?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, not familiar with that specific reference.
We can obviously get back to you on an answer on that. Apologies, we're not sure what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe this might be our last question, but remind me if I already asked this. What considerations should waste management organizations keep in mind when adopting new technologies, and how can they ensure a smooth transition?
Yeah, I think we tackled that one, Gage.
Gotcha.
Part of that smooth transition would be standardizing on a rugged system like Zebra and Havis.
Excellent. Well, I think you guys did a great job answering my questions, so I am going to sign off here. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Gage.
Thank you, Gage.
And again, before we sign off, everyone, I would like to thank our presenters one more time, Sam and Javier, as well as our sponsor, Havis. Within the next 24 hours, you will receive a personalized follow-up email with the details and a link to today's presentation on demand. Please feel free to invite your colleagues and peers who may not have been able to listen to the events. And thank you so much for attending, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.